I'm Tabitha Rock.
And I'm Sam Davenport.
Born and bred in Melbourne, we live and breathe property, and we know the Melbourne market like the back of our hand. We've both been buying and selling real estate in Metro Melbourne for over 2 decades combined, and we've learned a few lessons along the way. Well, we've got a goodie for you today on the Property Culture Podcast.
All you buyers out there with your questions to ask.
Well, they're probably asking all the wrong questions.
Exactly.
And that's why they need to listen to this and get the dialogue right for those agents to get the intel and the information they actually want that will be helpful for them to secure a property.
Yes. Unfortunately, once you receive the information, you may not know exactly how to decipher what it all means in terms of what might then be the outcome knowing this information. But that is for another day.
That is for another day. But this will help you. I get your notepad and pen because we're going to throw many questions out there for you to remember. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to do this in an orderly fashion as per. But it's going to be helpful shit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I think it's helpful to break these questions to ask at every inspection into probably 2 categories. Mm-hmm. The first being about the campaign, and then the second about the property, because they are both very important in terms of, but I will preface this and say, don't pepper the agents with these questions as soon as you walk up to the door and you're giving them your details.
As soon as I see people talking to agents before they've looked at the property, I'm like, look at it, be interested, then speak.
And like the funny thing is, the number of times I've just walked through a property, someone's clearly not interested, yet they're like, why is the vendor selling?
Oh, yeah. People love that one.
What?
Because do you know what they're expecting them to say? Because there's a graveyard in the backyard, and in fact there's 17 things in the closet upstairs, and the house is actually by next March it's going to fall down. That's why they're selling.
Yeah, there's actually ghosts in here.
Ghosts.
Actually, the vendor's selling because there's a dog next door that won't shut up.
The neighbour is going to build a secret bridge from one house to the next over the top of yours, and they're not going to tell you that, but that's why they're selling.
There are people with a meth lab next door, and the smell that's coming from the meth house, they just need to get out of here.
Yeah, they've got to go. They've got to run. That's why, but we won't tell you that. You know, it's all this big secret. Guys, people buy and sell property.
Yeah.
That's what people do.
It's just
don't worry too much about
just
it.
because they want a change of scenery.
It's largely in relation to a divorce.
Absolutely incorrect. But I mean,
and
that's
upsizing and downsizing families, births, upsizing, downsizing, kids leaving, kids coming.
Well, there might be a lot more of that if the Gov brings in their old tax for vacant rooms.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I thought you were going to say that they're looking like they're going to bring back the baby bonus.
Really?
It's like $3,500 if you give birth.
Let's go.
Yeah, I know.
Let's make some money.
I don't know what sort of people are having a baby for $3,500 though.
I'm like, jeez, I mean, what sort of government's making those grand plans?
We did that. We had a baby bonus.
I know, but like, why are we doing that?
Because the birth rate's going down.
I know. Well, then maybe make cost of living a little lighter.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen with $3,500.
Yeah.
Get her in politics. She wants to be.
No.
Yeah, her.
I'm not ready yet. No, it'll be
Is that
like
in your 50s?
50. 52. Here we go.
Property politics. This girl.
Yeah. Well, just trying to help make sure everyone's okay. Because it seems like there's not I don't know. I don't know.
You have wide enough shoulders for that stuff. Making sure everyone's okay. That's a lot, girl.
From a perspective of housing.
That's a lot, girl.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love lofty goals, whatever.
Yeah.
So let's get stuck into it. Campaign questions. I think one of the things, you walk through the house, you do like it to understand the vendor motivation. So why are they selling?
Have they bought?
Not why are they selling, but like
have they purchased? That's the question.
Yeah.
Have the vendors purchased? Yes? No?
Yeah.
I would say oftentimes, and look, we will preface this whole, I was going to say meeting.
Segment. This whole
episode with the fact that you guys have to understand if you're a regular buyer and you're seeing this agent or meeting this agent for the first time, maybe they're answer to these questions is going to be different to you. But obviously for us, when we're speaking to the agent for the 17th time that week on a property, they are going to tell us the go. So have the vendors purchased a property? Yes, no. It just gives you a feeling or an insight into vendors' motivation. If they haven't purchased, like one that I was trying to buy late last year, they hadn't purchased. They were up here on price. We were here very high still, and they just wouldn't make it work because they had no motivation.
Yeah.
And I think coupled with that understanding whether or not they've purchased or whether or not they are motivated, a great question to ask is, do the vendors have an ideal settlement date? That will give it away. They go 17th of January. And you're like, oh, why? What's happening? What's happened? And now you know the vendors are super bloody motivated for the 17th of Jan settlement. And it might not matter about your price, but you want to make sure you can match that date.
You know what I like doing it when I go to a property? I mean, obviously I know a lot of the agents, but there's sometimes that I'm like, who are you? I've never seen that name. And then I go in and like check how long they've been in real estate by their license or something, because you can look up every license of every estate agent and you can sort of get an idea how many reviews they've got on realestate.com. So how long have they been in the game? Because you can get them on questions like this because they will jump to 17th of January.
Yeah.
But the veterans, they're like, oh, flexible, maybe 45.
And then I say, can you just get a date for me? Just get a date. I said, just ask them, what's their ideal date? They'll have one.
Yes.
It depends on the price, Sam. Just get me a date.
Yeah.
John?
But I think understanding all that will help for several reasons, because the settlement date speaks into the negotiations as well. So if you know that there is a specific settlement date and you can marry that for the vendor, that might save you 10, 20, 5 grand, whatever it may be, because you don't have to beat the other person based on price. You can just give the vendor. Because, I mean, I have such conflicting information from people around how much bridging finance costs, but I don't think it's that expensive. But people do not want to get bridging finance.
Yeah.
So they do often want to settle on the same day. They just get the removalists in the morning that sit in their
Cleaners
truck.
in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 o'clock settlement.
Yeah.
Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle. If you live within reasonable distance from one house to the next. I mean, I think we've got here the next question to ask about the vendors while you're talking about them is like, will they sell prior? But in a way, I think that question is really for the agent. Will you sell prior?
Yes.
Because that is no matter what the vendor, because the vendor, I would say 9 times out of 10 is going to say to the agent, if you get a good price prior, I'll sell prior.
They are guided by the agent and what they recommend.
And the agent will guide them in relation to the campaign. How is the campaign going? Do I have one very strong interested party that I should probably sell this to prior? Or do I have someone beating down my door with a strong enough offer that I should sell it prior? Or do I know I've got everyone at the same level on price and I know I should push this to auction?
Yeah.
So that question is really for the agent. Will you sell prior if you get a strong enough offer? Or will the vendor sell prior? Same thing. So you can ask that question, just see what they say. What they say is really going to give you a really good indicator of how the campaign's going. So if you're in second or third week of the campaign and you ask, will you sell prior? And they say, oh, no, I've got to run this to auction. That is your absolute key takeaway that you've got lots of competition now.
A red flag. This campaign's flying.
Yeah, you better go back and do your numbers again because you might need an extra 150 grand.
Yeah, 250.
Yeah. But that's seeing whether or not they're open to that and what their response to that is just another way of asking, how's this going? How's this going?
A
different way. And you want to ask in 10 ways, how's this going? So that you can gather what you think and how you think it's going.
Yeah. Data points.
But if they say yes or if they are open to it, if they say if we get a good enough offer, your next question, how will you manage that process? Stop, don't talk, listen, wait. What do they say? Tell them, get them to tell you from start to finish. And they will. They know their process.
Yeah.
They'll tell you exactly how they're going to run it. And if the result of how they're going to run it is going to be a best and final,
Run.
So, maybe you don't engage in a pre-auction process. Maybe you're better to go to auction.
Yeah. And if they say, no, we'll just bring the auction forward and we'll sit you in a boardroom or on a Zoom call, then that's a great outcome.
Yes.
We would always be recommending that someone does that if the campaign is going well.
Or my favourite one, which I feel like happens so often, is if you give me an offer that's accepted by the vendor and we go out to other interested parties and we receive an offer that's better than yours, we'll give you first right of refusal at that level. So that is like, hello, that's easy. That's good. I like that one.
Yeah.
So that one you'd engage with as well if you know how to manage what's going on.
Yeah.
Don't just go too blindly. But
if you, and I hear buyers ask all the time when they walk through opens, will the vendor sell prior to auction? And I don't think they really understand why they should be asking that or then what?
yes.
So, okay, the vendor will sell prior to auction. Cool. Okay, see you later. No, that's not been a helpful question for you as a buyer.
Exactly.
That's given you no intel about anything.
There's so much follow-up from that. And if they respond to you saying, yes, no, they would. If the offer was at the right price, what price would that be?
Yeah.
At what level would that be? And they'll probably say it's got to be at the top end of the range at least. That's common. That's quite a common sort of response.
Yeah.
And so, okay, and I name figures. Okay, so if the top end of the range is 135, so would 135 do it?
Yeah.
Like, ask direct questions. You just might get a direct answer.
Yeah.
I think buyers are so commonly being elusive to the agent because they can't disclose their cards. I didn't disclose anything in asking whether or not the vendor would take 135.
But I also think agents do respect straight shooters.
Yes.
So if you're straight with the agent, they oftentimes will. Obviously, this is, not
you don't
one
get
size
this
fits all.
one. It's never. We're dealing with human beings and everyone is different. And you might smell funny and they're like, I don't like you.
You might have the wrong football team jersey on.
Yeah.
You're off.
It might be a
They're not
shoes
helping
off
you.
to inspect the house. You take yours off.
Stop the hoofs.
And they're just like not into your feet,
Oh my God, that is not ever how it will happen, people.
Do you know what?
Is absolutely
How often I have to take my goddamn shoes off and I've got bare feet kills me.
Oh, that's why the toes are always dead.
Oh, wait, no, but it's not even that. It's that I don't want my bare foot on someone's dirty floor.
Yeah, true.
That's what grosses me out. No, my feet are gorgeous. I mean more like I'm now barefoot on someone's 70-year-old carpet.
Oh, no, not only that, it's when it's tenanted and you have to take but also then I see the elderly people struggling at the front door. They can't balance on their one foot. And the agent's just standing there with their bloody iPad just staring down at them while this poor biddy or basically falls over.
Do you know what they have sometimes in some areas? They do the little the surgery shoe covers. The blue.
Yes. But they never stay on. I see them traipsed and left all around the house.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, asking direct questions is your best way to get a direct answer. But don't get confused and start disclosing because don't forget that you're talking to a seasoned question asker.
They have been through sales training.
They are going to ask you some questions right back. You.
So have you got pre-approval yet? Yeah. Okay.
When did you get that?
Yeah.
And did you bid on Oh, you did? Oh, were you the underbidder?
Oh. How about the property that you're walking through is $1 million? Well, I've got this great off-market around the corner for 1.2.
1.2.
Do you want me to flick you the details?
Oh, classic.
Yeah. No, that's over our budget. Thank you.
Budget 1.1.
in the iPad information you go.
Oh, and out to the rest of their entire franchise.
Yeah. And people don't realise that. I'm like, oh no, one Marshall White agent out in Glen Iris, your Albert Park agent's seeing all your details.
Oh yeah.
Seeing what you
you bid on something in Vermont South in 2017? We know.
So true.
Yeah, which I love that. I love that for agents. But that's where, you think as a buyer that you can hold your cards so close to your chest.
They know.
They know. And they can gather what's going on with you.
The next one that I'm gonna start by saying what not to ask, and then I'm gonna tell you what to ask, is when I hear buyers say, oh, how's the campaign going? How many people through? You're not going to get any good answers out of that sort of question. They're going to be like, oh, we've had pretty decent numbers, or, oh, look, it started a bit slow, now it's picking up. Okay, I don't know where that's going to get you with that sort of question asking. I think what's much better to ascertain is building and pest inspections. That's the number one question I go to. Have you had any building and pest inspections? Because that will tell you if there's someone that's got really strong enough interest that they will outlay the $700, $800. So that's the first one I go to. The next one I ask is definitely second inspections. Have you had any second inspections? Like 1, 2, 3? They usually will answer that by saying, yeah, we've actually had 2 second inspections.
That's 2 buyers.
That's 2 buyers because I don't know about you, but I'm not going back to a property that I ain't interested in.
Yeah, very rare.
Yeah. So asking how many contract requests. It's such a fake news data point.
Yeah.
Like the number of times I'll walk through a property once for 5 seconds and look like I have no interest. And they'll be like, should I send you a contract? And a normal buyers are like, yes, please.
Yeah.
Just collecting contracts. So that point isn't relevant and isn't telling you anything about the strength of the campaign. So
yes. However, I do love to ask, how many buyers did you have through your first open for inspection?
Yeah.
Because you can really, there's very telltale signs for how something is tracking, how it's perceived in the market, and then how it will track.
But I think the reason why you know
because I know, so that's why I'm about to give them some numbers. I feel like I can give them numbers.
I don't think so because I think it changes with price point.
That's what I'm about to do.
Okay,
a tier, a little tier for you. Get your pen. Where's your pen and paper?
Your iPad.
Let's say, oh yeah. Phone.
Yeah.
Phone.
Notes on your phone.
Oh, I text myself constantly. All it is just a stream of double bubbles.
Oh.
So basically, let's say we're going to work with a budget of 1.3. Super common first home buyer budget. Or individually, you can both borrow $750. Together, you have 1.3. Common. They've all got 1.3, which is why you're struggling. So if you're looking at a little house at 1.3 you've got 1.3 as a budget, so it's quoted around 1.1, 1.2, whatever that looks like. Through the first open for inspection, if they have 18 groups or more, that's going to fly.
Strong.
If they have under 10, you wait for it to pass in
100%.
and buy it cheap later. If they have between 10 and 15 or between 10 and 18, it'll probably sell within near top end, just over range.
Yeah.
That's like to me, how many buyers do you have through your first open? I know exactly what's going to happen here now.
But I also think it changes with different price points. So at your
that's just that
million,
low. Yeah.
At your $4 million, you're expecting a lot less buyer pool.
But a lot of neighbours.
A lot of neighbours. Exactly. So then the second week is more important.
Yes.
But I also think
second inspections there is critical.
Yeah. But I think you're more attuned to this, and we are because we're ex-selling agents.
Yes.
And numbers, funnily enough, even when we were selling agents 10 years ago, it's all pretty consistent.
All the same still.
Yeah. But you also run vendor advocacy. So you see it from that perspective. And obviously we talk in-house.
Yeah.
But it is a really good insight into what numbers campaigns are seeing at the time, any given time in a market.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a great question for you to ask, but not for the people listening.
I know. That's why I was saying, like, with these questions, like, you can ask them questions, but if you don't know what to do with the information beyond that, it doesn't actually help you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very, but there's, I would say a lot of people are looking that are listening, maybe in that 1 to 1.3 bracket. And there's your numbers. Under 10, you'll be the only buyer. Over 15, you'll have competition.
Yeah.
Through the first open for inspection. But yeah, understanding the second inspections on those more family style homes, and even asking beyond that, have they bid on anything with you before? Has that, so you've had a family who's done a second inspection, you're telling me they seem very interested. Have they bid on anything with you before?
I would only get to those sort of questions though when I know I'm 100% bidding. I've done my due diligence. I've got my contract review. I've done my building and pests.
Oh, yeah, I'm a buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you're a buyer, but you're going to auction in 2 days' time.
Yes.
So then you really need to drill down on who your competition is and what sort of budget they have.
Yeah.
That's not a question to be asking on
at
your
an open for inspection.
Yeah, at an open for inspection or your first inspection, your second inspection. That's when they're doing the pre-auction calls. On a Thursday before the auction, you're saying, who is my competition?
Yeah.
And then you're saying, so we've diverted a little bit because this is questions to ask at opens, but I think that is a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Okay.
That was the title of the podcast.
Oh, but campaign questions?
Oh, yeah, but like at the inspection.
Yes. Because once you, obviously none of this info, I mean, a lot of those earlier questions we just talked about, they're really important when you're ascertaining your own interest.
Yeah.
But once you then know you do have interest, then you've got that second layer of questioning that happens on the phone privately.
True.
And that's the sort of questions that you can ask them.
These are just questions if you're interested in a property. How about we change a title?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because open for inspection, just look at the house.
Yeah, true.
Who are you talking to?
Also, don't ask any questions in front of other buyers. Because they're snooping and then they're getting all your intel when you've listened to the right podcast.
Do you want to know what you've just done? You have just created a bit of buzz around the property now. Oh, you're standing there asking the agent questions. Ooh, what's this? This must be good. That's what that message sends. So just quietly inspect, leave, and then call the bloody agent.
Yeah. Is a contract ready is also a good one. So for your first inspection, I think that's good because unfortunately sometimes in some scenarios we have agents and vendors holding back the contracts so they don't get any early offers. So if they don't have a contract ready at their first inspection, that might be because they are expecting good interest levels and so they are therefore just pushing back the ability for people to submit offers. So I think is a contract ready is a good one, but only obviously if you're interested in the property and probably want a copy.
Yeah.
Property questions?
Property questions. And again, you've probably already ascertained you have interest in this property before you're asking these questions, but asking the agent whether or not the current owners or previous owners, depending on when it was last sold, had done any works or have done any works or renovations on the property within the last 5 to 10 years.
Yep.
What you're trying to work out is has it done within the last 7 years?
Yeah.
Whether or not there's going to be obviously building insurance and things like that in place. But
because also I think solicitors and conveyancers are getting more and more fixated on there's a part in the contract that has any works being done to the property in the last 7 years. So has any building permits been issued? So many times, even if people have done works, they are saying no to this. But I think people are getting oh my gosh, I had a friend who bought a property. This is a story for you. I had a friend that bought a property. She didn't change anything to the property, went to sell, and then a neighbour dobbed her into the council for taking down film on one of the upstairs windows. So then there was overlooking.
Right.
And then also extending a deck. So then the council comes, whacks a notice on her property. So therefore she's got this big red flag in her contract.
Yeah.
She didn't do those works. It was done by the previous owner.
Yeah.
Just the neighbour didn't dob the previous owner into council when they went to sell.
Yeah.
So that is what can happen if you have had illegal works done on the property and even if you haven't yourself done them.
You take on the risk when you buy it.
Exactly.
So what did she do in the end?
So she rectified it. But it cost
What
her
did she do though? She took she removed the deck or she got the retrospective permit?
She got a retrospective permit.
Yeah.
Which is like, the thing that everyone can do. Oh my gosh.
It's annoying to have to do.
Absolutely.
And also actually one of the biggest issues with that. So if the works are okay and they're compliant, that's one thing. But if actually the works, you try to get the retrospective permit and the works weren't compliant or aren't compliant with building regulations, that's when now you've really got to remove it. And it's like, whatever that was, did it add value to the property?
Yes.
And if it did, no, really much. But if it didn't, then okay.
Another little story for you. Went to a Christmas party in December and met a guy that was flapping about at the Christmas party because his brother had bought a property and they were due to settle in about 3 days. And they realised that there was illegal works done to the garage that was converted into a bedroom or like a rumpus or something. And then I looked at the ad and they'd only done, 3 beds, hadn't claimed that it was another bedroom on the icons. And also the shed was already there. They've just moved the laundry in. Okay, yeah. But I don't think you can delay settlement because of all that.
No, you didn't pick it up. That's on you. That's your fault. Yeah.
Yeah. But then does it come down to disclosure of material facts?
I don't know because I do deal a lot with buying property that's got illegal building works down in Bayside. So, I always feel like it's up to me to find that out.
Yeah.
And it's all about asking the right questions. And luckily, obviously, we've got access to such great data that I can see time-stamped photos.
Yeah.
Which is so helpful. Those are the ones that I really rely on is in 2022, it was this. And then in 2023, it was this.
Well, we use a system called Land Checker, and they've got, so many good aerial photos back for like $1 million.
Yeah, since the beginning of time.
Since the beginning of time, which is kind of scary, but I low-key love it.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think that's a really good one about works. I also not sure that the agent always knows, and I don't think the vendor always discloses.
I always feel like I'm prompting the agent to ask the questions they probably should have asked already.
Yeah.
I always am dumbfounded by the fact that an agent standing on the door of a property that they are selling, that they're being paid to sell, and they don't know these things. You should really research what you're selling. You should know about it. You should know more about it than I do.
Yeah. But I also think that, are they there to disclose warts and all and disclose all these things that might negatively impact the price?
Only if they get asked a question.
Yes, I agree with that. But then if they've got the knowledge, that I remember back in my selling days, I had one vendor paint cracks and, we were just told act like you don't know.
Oh my gosh, act like you don't know. But if a buyer said to you, and which I have asked this question, did you see this before it was painted? And then I think that legally they are obliged to tell me whether they saw it before they got it painted. Yeah.
Well, I think
and then I just say, was it all right or was it pretty bad?
Yeah.
By the way, you can already freaking tell.
But also that's subjective. Is it all right or pretty bad?
Yeah. Oh, and then you go, are we talking this or this?
How wide was the cracks?
Yeah.
Also, I think another good one, if it is tenanted and you're planning on taking that tenant on of a property, is just asking for, are they paying on time? Is there any outstanding maintenance? Because that's, really important information to know. Are they good tenants?
Incredible. And look, there's so many little potholes that you can get stuck in for that one. I mean, there's ones that we've been caught out with before. Tenant pays regularly on time all the time without fail. They look after it like it's their own. Couldn't get them out.
Yeah. Yep.
Couldn't get them out. VCAT. Still paying.
Yeah.
Still looking after the property.
Yeah.
Just did not want to leave. And it's like, how can you foresee that?
Oh, you can't.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Yeah. So, ask questions. Ask questions.
But, good questions and also
Quality.
only when you're interested because
oh, my God.
Or maybe you should practice some of your questions on the properties you're not interested in.
Yeah, maybe.
So you get really good at asking the questions.
And then maybe just find out what it's sold for in the end.
Yeah.
So that you're starting to build some understanding. So you've got all this information on this property, find out what it sells for in the end.
Or maybe just engage prop culture.
Well, yeah, obviously.
To speak to every agent and you'll never speak to another agent again. Well, sometimes. But you don't have to.
No.
We're there for you. We're your protector. Your bodyguard. Okay.
Was that a lot?
I don't think that was a lot, but I think that was quite valuable.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we went on a real pathway there because we changed the podcast name halfway through.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Questions to ask, full stop.
Full stop in real estate.
Questions to ask.
Now our favourite segment, F, marry, kill.
Da, 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 da.
Right. How do you want to inspect a property? Do you want to inspect a property by a private inspection? Or at a scheduled open for inspection, so there's other buyers.
Yes.
Or with a tenant in the property, and that could be private inspection or that could be an open for inspection. Funnily enough, today, for instance, I have a tenant opening up their property for us because the agent's unavailable. So that's really interesting.
That's a lot. Does the vendor know that?
No idea.
So I understand it's F, marry, kill, which I'll get to.
Yes.
But my process is private inspection on my timeline, ascertain my interest. If I'm interested and my client wants to buy it, then go through an open.
Yep.
With them.
Yeah.
So I like to see the open because that helps me to understand how it's tracking, how it's going, the sentiment in the air. What is everyone feeling? How many dollars are floating around this air. And then, but otherwise I just like to keep it to, you know, my scheduled time through my week. So I'll have to kill with a tenant in the property because I can sort of get a gauge for how much a tenant cares about their property just by seeing it in general.
Oh, I'm
kill?
killing it because that is low-key
Awkward.
uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're usually sitting on their couch or pottering in their kitchen.
They're always working from home.
Oh, and then you're like, oh, can I go into your bedroom and open your cupboard? Like this is weird.
You can't.
No,
you can't touch anything. I don't touch anything.
So then I'm not seeing the property.
Exactly.
So we're killing that.
We're killing, kill. I will marry a private inspection because it's what I do all week long, and I will F that scheduled open.
Yeah. Because I think that, as you said, scheduled open gives you a really good understanding of like other interested parties, and I think it's good just to feel it.
Yeah. Feel it. But really that only matters once you know you're interested.
Yes.
So it's like one chicken and egg.
Chicken and egg. Thank you for listening once again.